The Hollywood Reporter is reporting that Here Comes Honey Boo Boo on TLC actually received equal ratings to Bill Clinton's speech at the DNC.
We all know that he also tried to work with congressional Republicans on health care, debt reduction, and new jobs. And that didn't work out so well.
So what's the go-go juice?
It is caffeine drink and just a hint of an energy drink.
So you mix like a highly caffeinated soda and an energy drink.
Yeah.
As the Senate Republican leader said, in a remarkable moment of candor, 2 full years before the election, their #1 priority was not to put America back to work. It was to put the president out of work.
This is a caffeine drink and an energy drink.
Is that what it tastes like?
It tastes like apple juice. Yummy, yummy to my tummy.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough.
Now, before we continue with this conversation, I want to make sure that I give you guys a huge disclaimer. When we're talking about these ratings, we're comparing TLC to CNN specifically. However, if you look at all the networks that did DNC coverage, you'll realize that DNC actually got more ratings than Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. Yeah. But still, more people were watching TLC during Bill Clinton's speech than they were watching CNN. Yeah. And at that time, it was Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. Which is a little depressing.
Yeah, especially, look, it makes me feel a little bit better that it's CNN, which historically we don't have very high expectations for their ratings, unfortunately. But yeah, and it's not like they got better ratings in like the 18 to 25 demographic. It's up to 49 years old.
Yeah.
There are 48-year-old men sitting around watching a little girl bug out on caffeine rather than watching an inspiring, amazingly delivered speech by a former president. In the lead up to an extremely influential and consequential election. When I was reading this and I saw this, and as you said, there's the disclaimer, but I think that this is one of the signs that I may be getting older, that I now am convinced, as so many older people in generations past were, that I think that we're breeding and encouraging stupidity. Like, you should be free to watch whatever you want,
right.
But I think that we are creating, or we live in the continuation of a culture that encourages people to, I don't know, to not want to better themselves or improve themselves and just watch the worst elements of humanity in America.
Yeah, my thoughts on Honey Boo Boo are pretty clear based on a video we did recently about how I think it's horrible to exploit this little girl like that. I mean, we're encouraging her to act the way that she's acting, and I don't like it. I think it's destructive. But at the same time, here's the good news, okay? During Bill Clinton's speech, Here Comes Honey Boo Boo actually experienced a 20% ratings drop from previous episodes. They only had 2.4 million viewers. Look, that's actually very depressing. You know, you guys can sense my sarcasm. But, you know, I don't know if it has to do with you getting older. I think that people are, at this point, obsessed with escapism. I mean, everything is so catastrophic. You watch the news, everything is depressing. The economy is bad. Climate change. We're spending more money on prisons than on education. I mean, how many depressing stories do we do on a daily basis? And once in a while, I'll catch myself watching reality shows because I just want to turn my brain off. All right, quite often. But because after a full day of covering stuff that literally makes me want to lock myself in a closet and cry, like the reality shows give me an opportunity to shut my brain off and just focus on the lighter side of life, right? But at the same time, it is harmful when you're trying to run a democracy, when you're trying to get people to participate in political activism. But they're distracted by all of these crazy shows that are on TV right now, and they're so unbelievably successful.
Yeah. Well, I will say, first of all, I don't want to give people the impression that from what I was saying before, that I was like at home playing the violin or sculpting. No, I watch Archer, and when I'm editing TYT, I watch Married with Children, which isn't even a new show. I'm wasting my time with reruns from the late 80s and the early 90s. So I'm not saying that I'm immune to this. I was raised in the same culture that I'm criticizing. But I think that as part of our job, we do try to expose you to information going on in America and around the globe that will expand your horizons while also having a little bit of fun.
Right.
When you said the 2.4 million viewers, that made me feel a little bit better because it's a lot of people, but it's obviously a very small portion of the American population at large. But at the same time, we're only 3 or 4 million people watching Bill Clinton then? This is the DNC. We have an election coming up. It should be 50 million people watching a major speech by a former president in the lead up to the election. And Mitt Romney as well. I'm not just saying for the DNC. Like, this is a person who's running to rule the country.
Do you think that it has to do with apathy, or are people just disillusioned and discouraged about this
More
political
apathy, I would say.
Yeah, I think apathy has a large part of it, but I think people are also just kind of tired. I have to be completely honest, I was very fired up during the 2008 elections. It's very difficult for me to be as inspired and excited about the elections this time around. And, you know, I care, I'm not apathetic, but at the same time, it's like, all right, Obama's saying that he's going to do A, B, and C. He's probably not. Here's Romney. He's saying he's going to destroy the economy, give the wealthy, tax cuts, and he'll probably do that if he gets elected. So it's not something that you get excited about. I think people are also discouraged about our political system. You know, they feel like you have to vote for the lesser of two evils, and that's part of the reason why, you know, it kind of goes into the escapism argument. Let's watch Honey Boo Boo. We don't have to think about it.